Welcome everybody to another edition of The Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Sorry I've been MIA for a few weeks on this channel. Just doing a lot of other things, exploring a lot of different other avenues, but back here, going to make some more content for you. Let's get into it. So the Giants played the Commanders on Sunday. Absolutely boring game. Both teams stink. A lot of not offense, but hey, there's one thing that you can say is that the Commanders need to get off to a hot start. They didn't. They passed the ball a little too much. I think they are not quite the team that we thought they were. Jonathan Allen is very upset at the end of the game, frustrated because of how things have unfolded the last 7 years that he's been there. It's time for them to make a change. They had a chance to dominate this game. They didn't dominate the game. They only gave up 14 points, but when you put yourself in a hole and don't get any field goals, you miss field goals, you miss points. Games against teams matter. This team was not good both teams were not good. We won. However, offensively, the Giants looked a little bit more dynamic at the quarterback position. I know that people don't want to talk about that, but that's been one of the things that has happened is Tyrod Taylor has stabilized that position. Now, of course, going forward, they're not going to put Tyrod Taylor in the game if Daniel Jones is mysteriously cleared. I think they're going to go with Daniel to ride this thing out like the Hindenburg. They're going to wait till that shit blows up. And when it comes down, it comes down. If you can't see that that's happened, I'm sorry. I don't want to go tit for tat with anybody anymore. We clearly know that there's an issue there. You can say O-line. You can, blame college quarterbacks for this, that, and the other thing, saying they're not elevating games and that's, that, and the other thing. Clearly, this team needs a retooling at the position. Tyrod comes in and it's just a different operation. And that's all. It's just a different operation. He just understands defenses, understands techniques, understands manipulation of the pocket. Was it always clean? No. Did he have some throws? No. But there was a question about him being asked, if it's 3rd and 2, do you go to the sticks? He's like, that's not my mindset. My mindset is if I see one-on-one, I'm going deep. Daniel could take a mental note of that. Say, hey, listen, if I get the matchup I need, I'm going one-on-one. So, and I don't want to hear about, hey, no one can play behind this O-line. That's been disproven. All the, Daniel Jones would have crushed the Commanders and all this stuff. You have no idea. You have no idea. That's the same narrative saying, hey, no one can play behind this O-line. You have no idea until it's proven. Well, guess what? Somebody can play behind this O-line. It's our own backup quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. So I don't want to hear that narrative anymore. This team is a little bit ways away. They need to focus on the rebuild. If you lose to the Jets, no big deal. If they beat the Jets, still no big deal. You lost 5 games early on in the season. It's going to be tough to play close to the vest every time, especially if this team had some muff punts. The offense got stagnant at the beginning of the game. If they're playing a better team, it might not be as easy as it looked on Sunday. But a win's a win. You'll take them where you can get them. Next week, the Giants play the Jets. It should be a fun game. Don't sleep on the Jets defense. I know the Jets coming off a bye. They tend to be a little groggy after the bye. I don't buy it one bit. I think this Jet defense is licking their chops. They come in waves, and we'll see if the Giants O-line can hold up with Tyrod Taylor. They still gave up 4 sacks. I think there's going to be a lot more. I think this game you'll see a little bit more hurries. They flustered Jalen Hurts. They flustered Patrick Mahomes. They flustered Josh Allen. Quarterbacks who are a lot better and a lot more elite than Tyrod Taylor and or Daniel Jones. Whoever's starting under center is going to have a tall task and a tall order. Defensively, played a solid game. Nothing to write home about. They stopped a putrid team from scoring points. They stopped them from driving. Good stuff. Let's see what they can do. Again, they're going to play another struggling offense in the Jets. But the Jets do something that Commanders don't do, and that's they run the football a little better. So that's where I'm looking for the Jets to try to take advantage in this game, maybe do some play action. I think the Giants are going to stack up and do the same kind of game plan they did against the Commanders. They're just going to blitz, make sure Zach Wilson makes mistakes. And I think on the other end, the Jets are going to do the same thing too. They're going to say, listen, Tyrod hasn't turned the ball over in 2 games. If Tyrod starts, that is. If Daniel starts, they're going to come after Daniel and say, hey, we're going to test out that neck. So we'll see what happens. If this will be funny, if Daniel comes back and they struggle and the Giants, let's say the Giants lose, I don't want to hear any excuses on why, right? Because I don't want to hear it. Oh, well, and you're going to hear excuses because this guy's they make excuses for this guy no matter what happens. The guy could be out and the team could win a Super Bowl. They'll be like, oh, Daniel could have done that. Daniel would have done that. No. The 5 games versus the 2 games that have been played, you clearly see a difference. There's been one major change outside of the entire offensive line. The offensive line looked competent in 2 games, but in 5 games, it was an absolute train wreck. I mean, just saying, just look at the facts, look at the figures. If for nothing else, go back and rewatch the film and see it. If you can't rewatch the film, then go watch cut-ups and clips. You don't always have to listen to people. And this is not a pro Daniel, against Daniel, whatever. Just overall, look at the tape. Tape don't lie. The eye in the sky don't lie. And clearly the Giants have had a bit of an uptick in throws downfield with Tyrod Taylor. That's not me. That's the stats. Go look at them. And you can say what you want, however you want to spin it, but clearly there is a quarterback controversy in this team. We'll see how they're obviously not going to sit Tyrod, regardless of what happens. If Daniel's cleared, they're going to put him in here. If he struggles, they're going to keep traipsing him out there and saying, hey, we paid you $160 million. But my question then becomes, is it really going to be about winning? If Daniel Jones is struggling and clearly the guy behind him is doing well, it will be a disservice if they don't consider benching him if he struggles in games or 2 when and if he does come back. I don't know if he'll come back. Next things are kind of tricky. We'll find out what his status is this week going forward. But hey, again, a win's a win. Let's not critique it too much. Defense playing well. Deonte Banks looks good. I'm wrong about him. I thought he was going to struggle a little bit. He's done pretty well. So good for him. Good for this Giant team. Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll got a lot of work to clean up. This team is far from being where it needs to be, regardless of what the record's going to end up being. And the NFC is just terrible. That's why they're still in the race. This is a normal NFC. They would not be in the race right now, but because it is terrible, the Giants are kind of still in the race. It shows you how bad everybody else is, right? And we'll see going forward. The second half of the year, teams tend to improve. The Giants might be one of those teams, but I don't know if they're still having. The margin for error is very slim, and they had 2 turnovers yesterday with the muff punt and the fumble. Those are things that are going to cost you down the road against better teams, even against teams with 50-50. You could say, hey, the Raiders stink, but Max Crosby comes in and knocks a fumble out of your quarterback's hand or a team's hand. You never know what's going to happen. So enjoy the win. Let's see what we can do on Sunday and prepare for a defensive struggle on Sunday afternoon at MetLife Stadium. Another edition of The Hurry Up. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you next time.